Philena has been done a number of things at Treadwell's, and as you all know, she has a remarkable and international life in healing and esoteric and spiritual subjects, and it's really, really a pleasure to have you all here and on this really remarkable occasion. I'm going to hand over now to your friend. Who's going to hand over Theo?
Philena's nephew, and I'd like to propose a toast to Philena and all the success of her wonderful book.
Philena, would you say a few words about how this book came about?
Thank you. Well, thank you all for coming. It's so lovely seeing so many faces, particularly some of you I've had set eyes on for years, and for the support, and well, it's just so great that you're here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I wrote my book, because over the last 30 years I've discovered through trial and error many techniques in healing and self-healing which can totally transform your life. I transformed mine, and I've transformed thousands of my clients using these techniques. And I thought, unless I get this into print, this information will die with me. Not that, of course, I'm thinking of dying in the near future, but so this is why I went ahead to write the book. Now, some of these techniques are ideal if you happen to be very busy in life, because you don't need to take time off to do them in. You can stand at a bus stop doing these techniques, waiting for a train, watching the kettle boil. Many of the exercises in this book, you can use the small moments of life when there isn't anything else you can do. So for the busy person, it's your answer. And it also doesn't take you too long to read, so one way or another, it's quite useful. And lots of people have been buying them recently in half dozens, saying they're giving them to all their friends. And this has been happening both sides of the Atlantic. Now, when I first started my path with O-Books, who have published it 15 months ago, I was under this sort of wrong assumption. I just thought I was publishing a book. But I soon found out that it was much more than that. I was actually bringing myself out. So that this is the book's launch, and as far as I can see, my new birth. So you're celebrating two things at once.
Well, that doesn't mean we've got a third date to celebrate in the year, does it? We have two birthdays already.
You'll be the queen!
Because the last 15 months for me, my journey with O-Books has been difficult, challenging, and intense. And it's given me the opportunity to practice most of the techniques in my book yet again. It started on February the 23rd, 2009, when work suddenly dried up out of the blue. I had an average of 2 clients a week, for about half an hour each or something. And then I had to apply that I know that I'm loved. I know that this will not last forever. And it turned out very convenient, because I needed the first fortnight of that month. It started again on the 24th March. The first fortnight was very useful, because I used that to sort of like a holiday at home. And the second fortnight I had to fill in O-Book's proposal online. Most of the time down the phone to Spain, when my friend Angela, who unfortunately wasn't able to come over today, held my hand and sorted out all these questions. They said to me, just, can you fill in a few boxes? A few boxes took a fortnight full-time work. And then, the next thing that happened, which actually gives a very good example of chapter 11. Of course, it isn't in chapter 11, because it happened while the book was being in the publishing process. That last summer, my left foot, or my big toe on my left foot, suddenly got very painful indeed, so much so I couldn't walk, or I could hardly walk. And I know that a left foot stands for if it hurts, you can't walk, which means you're afraid of going ahead, going forward emotionally in life. But it was such that I couldn't even look at it without feeling fear. And as for giving it healing myself, well, to give anything healing, you need to be relaxed, and no longer being 7, hold my foot on my lap in a relaxed position and giving it healing. So I was kind of stuck. So rather stupidly, I decided that maybe my answer was the medical profession. I say stupidly because I wasted a hell of a lot of time and a hell of a lot of money. After an ultrasound, an X-ray, 3 visits to different GPs, 2 of which were National Health and 1 of which was private, and the top foot and ankle specialist at the St John Elizabeth Hospital, I ended up with 6 different diagnoses, with them all insisting that they were right and the other 5 were wrong. I found out later they all 6 were wrong. Anyway, at this point, when I was sort of left at the point that I could either have an operation, which would definitely leave me unable to walk for 2 weeks, but might or might not cure the pain in my foot, I decided to have a change in tactics and went to the #1 theatre healer, Catherine, who's here today, in the UK. And after a couple of sessions, I've kind of got the feeling it might be getting a bit better. And a few sessions later, I was flung into, it's the only way I can describe it, I was flung into a sea of terror. I floundered in the sea of terror for 8 weeks. As I dealt with one source of terror, something else hit me. It went on for 8 weeks. And during those 8 weeks, I used chapter 10 in my book, called Toning. I used to process the terror. And of course, Catherine was on a holiday throughout this time, so I couldn't actually go and see her. So I was left stuck to do it myself. At the end of the 10 weeks, when I dealt with all the terror, my foot was completely healed. Now, in this chapter 11 describes how physical problems are caused by, in most cases, I wouldn't like to say in every case, but in most cases, by stuck emotions. And if you can find out what they are and remove your stuck emotions, you can get rid of your physical problems, as I did with my foot. I saved myself being on crutches for a fortnight on an operation which might not have worked, and would have cost a couple of £1,000s. As I told my insurance company, you will be willing to have paid £2,000 or £3,000 for a foot operation. I have healed myself for £360. Don't you think you might pay it for me? But let me give you another example from my book of how you can get rid of your physical problems by finding the emotional reason behind it.